signature talk are not my opinion. If you want an opinion, ask yourself. What I'm going to share with you are research-proven strategies that you can insert into your presentation from the research of Robert Cialdini, Neil Strauss, Daniel Pink, Scott Adams, that will make the audience need to engage with you after the presentation. And to do that, the first thing you have to do is connect with their hearts. You have three things you need to do in the first 5 minutes. You need to be ordinary, you need to be extraordinary, and you need to show your why. Ordinary means I'm just like you. I've struggled with what you've struggled with. I've walked in your path. Extraordinary means I've figured it out. I no longer struggle in this area. I've got this figured out. Now, we all have heard speakers who are too extraordinary. They walk up on stage and say, everything I touch turns to gold. Every single thing that I do is successful. My last launch, $100 million. My list has 375 million people on it. And at some point, you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't know if you're the right person to work with then, because I struggle. I really struggle with this. My list has 21 people on it, 9 of them have my last name. We all have probably also heard speakers who are too ordinary. They walk up on stage and say, I struggle just like you struggle. I worry just like you worry. My last launch was a flop and my business is going under next week. And at some point you're sitting there wondering, well then why are you on stage? Like why did I pay to come here and why are you being paid to be here? It is the speaker who can do both. The speaker who can both say, I have walked in your shoes, but I have figured some of this out, and I'm here to share those solutions with you. That is the speaker who converts at the highest rate, who gets the most engagements after the fact. The third thing you need to do is to show your why, to show that this is more than about getting one more client. It's about more than just getting money. Why do you do this? Why do you love to do this? Why do you need to do this? We believe the fastest and easiest way to be ordinary, extraordinary, and show your why in 5 minutes is through episodic storytelling. Episodic storytelling is not to tell your story like a third-party biographer. It's not to read us your resume. Episodic storytelling is to take us into a room where we can see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. One of the speakers, one of the business owners who took our Stage to Scale online course was Lavana Roth. Lavana is a speaker and she grew up very poor. And she used to start her presentation by saying, I grew up very poor. We changed the start of her presentation. When Lavana was 14 years old, their family was evicted from their apartment. A friend said, you can come in and move in with us. And when they got to that friend's house, the friend said, well, we don't actually have an extra bedroom for you to sleep in, but we have an abandoned chicken coop attached to our garage. You're welcome to stay in there. And as a 14-year-old girl, Lavana walks the audience into that abandoned chicken coop. And you can see what she sees, you can hear what she hears, you can smell what she smells. I gotta tell you, I've watched her give this presentation a number of times in front of live audiences, and when she gets to that moment of her presentation, you can hear a pin drop. And that audience will go anywhere with her. Certainly they'll listen to the rest of this 45-minute presentation, but more importantly, they will engage with her after the presentation. They will do business with her after the presentation because they are emotionally connected to her because they shared this moment. And so my question for you is, can you take us into a room? Can you take us into a room where we can see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel? If you can do that in the opening of your presentation, you are going to be so much further along in making that particular presentation, whether it lasts 3 minutes or 3 hours, of the people who are hearing it want to engage with you after the fact. Everything I share with you around your signature talk framework works equally well when you're live in the room with people or when you're online. It works on podcasts, works on webinars, works on Summit, works on breakout sessions, works one-on-one across the table. The last thing you want to do in that opening sequence is roadmap your presentation. Tell the audience what you're going to teach them today. And here's a pro ninja tip. Include a time element in your road mapping. And so don't just say, today I'm going to teach you these 3 things. You should say, in the next 30 minutes, or in the next 5 minutes, or in the next day, I'm going to teach you these 3 things. Why do you include a time element? Because if you don't include a time element, about 75% of the way through your presentation, somebody in the audience is going to say, hey, I wonder how long this thing is going to last. The schedule says an hour, but he's 45 minutes in and he's still rolling. And they'll look at their phone or they'll look at their watch. All audience behavior is contagious. When one person in the audience laughs, everybody laughs. When one person stands up and claps, everybody stands up and claps. But when one person looks at their phone, everybody looks at their phone. When one person looks around